And welcome to XBLG's video blog of day one of the Eurogamer Expo 2015 in Birmingham. I am Calum and I am joined by my friend Scott Asbury.
Hello, I'm actually for the SGH, Steam Gamer Hub, just for all you people out there. It's getting launched sooner than you think. Anyway, got my EGX today.
Yes, EGX. Now,
well, let's be honest, it was a pretty rushed day.
It was very rushed.
It was, when I'm coming on 36 hours without sleep now. It was just a case of running about, getting a feel for the place, seeing what was there, what games were there, and you know.
Yeah, there was a long drive down the night before, a lot of run about, went and got the new hoodies. Scott was kind enough to wear one today because...
Free advertising, yeah.
Yeah, free advertising. We covered a lot of the show floor today. Never got to play all the games, but we did manage to get... We kind of hit more of the over 18 section. We got in...
Yeah, we hit. We got a home, we got lucky hit with home front. That was,
yeah, just chanced the arm when we got to the front of the queue for home front. Actually surprising.
Yeah, big surprise again.
Yeah, big surprise. A lot of features I didn't expect to see in it. I didn't really know anything about it beforehand. You can change the barrel of your gun just by lifting it off and replacing it. Your shotgun can be replaced with a rocket launcher. Your assault rifle can be replaced by a grenade launcher. You can also get a buggy, remote control buggy with a camera on it, and it's an explosive device as well.
I mean, for all the people out there that haven't played the original Homefront, it got mixed reviews. The campaign was too short. It was a good campaign, it was a good premise, but it was too short and it lacked features, and the multiplayer was a bit of a shambles, to be honest. It wasn't up to scratch with what you would expect at a title at its time. But this really is a big improvement definitely a big improvement on the previous. I mean, from the free roam we got for what, a 15-minute, 20-minute demo you got to play?
Yeah, surprisingly good. Just a 15-minute, it wasn't really a scripted demo. You were given the option to follow a path at the beginning, to follow somebody you're supposed to be teamed up with, but you can deviate from the path straight away, and it does kind of break out in a firefight if you do that, but it just kind of gets you into the action more quickly.
Yeah, I felt there was a sense of urgency. I mean, you felt as if you were under constant threat when you were fighting the KPR, they called themselves, the Koreans that were invading America.
I'm not even gonna lie, I can't remember.
I think it was a KPR anyway. Whatever the enemy soldiers or enemy faction, whether they were, you felt under threat. They weren't difficult in smaller amounts, but they always seemed to have backup. They always seemed to have, help nearby. You were always under a threat, so you genuinely felt like a resistance cell rather than, all of a sudden I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger and I can run in and shoot everybody and kill them quite easily. It felt much more difficult, and I never died, but I several times I was very close to dying. And the motorbike, it was superb. I love the physics for the motorbike. I can see where they were saying they lifted the suspension system for trials. I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, it felt like it drove. It was nothing like previous Deep Silver's driving escapades. It was like driving a small brick in every vehicle in the game, whereas that was much more fluid, I think.
Other games, we managed to get a trial of Just Cause 3. They're running a challenge all the way through EGX where you have 1 minute 30 seconds and you have infinite ammo for a rocket launcher, and you've just to cause as much destruction as possible, and it's basically trying to destroy things and keep your combo meter up, and the person who has the largest score at the end of the 4 days, who holds the top of the leaderboard, will get a free copy of the game.
No? Every person at the end of each day that has the highest score that day gets a free copy of the game for release. And I think there's something else with that, I can't quite remember what, and we'll report back on that more tomorrow, but the final prize for the end of it is a Sony surround sound, so like a kind of home theatre system with a free PS4, which is quite a good prize I think myself. I mean, I don't mind what console's what, I mean it's a good prize I think as any. I mean the prizes for a lot of the things today seem pretty good, so it's a bit of fun. I mean we only played about 2 minutes and it was a kind of sectioned off area just cause, I mean I'd rather go back and play the kind of free roam of the island. But
yeah,
the destruction is quite good. I mean, you can literally blow holes in most stuff.
We'll try and play the actual free roam instead of the destruction challenge tomorrow and report back. We also got to watch a 25-minute private, well it wasn't private, it was the E3 demo of gameplay footage of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. There was a 25-minute presentation where they showed the gameplay footage from EGX, but they had a commentator talking over the top, kind of going into more depth of what the difference is in Mankind Divided compared to Human Revolution. It was kind of self-explanatory, so everything you can kind of guess from watching the trailer. I found Human Revolution, if you watch the trailer, it kind of explains the entire story of the game in a 4-minute trailer. I feel Mankind Divided has done the exact same thing, don't get me wrong. Excellent CGI work, excellent music again. I'm still going to play the game, but you don't really have much left of the imagination.
I did like the presentation. I liked seeing the combat and the kind of more fluidity of combat and things in it, but I've got to agree with Calum here. I mean, it felt as if it was like kind of, we were going to tell you everything, because it's like the most movies nowadays, you know, they show you everything in the trailer and it's like you go and watch the film and it's a kind of disappointment. Still got to play the game though, because I'm sure it won't be a disappointment, it's just Deus Ex game. But then again, Squeenix have screwed up before, so we don't know yet. But well, from what I saw, it looked really good. I mean, I can't really complain. Didn't like the cut up Adam Jensen's beard, maybe. You know, it's not really anything I could say that was terrible. I liked the presentation though, because I felt a bit better than watching a trailer. I mean, watching a trailer, you're just watching a trailer. I mean, you get at least you explaining a bit more about it and kind of giving you a kind of talk through it as well.
It's a more in-depth look at what was happening.
And it genuinely seems as if he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
I have a feeling sometimes when you see these presentations as if they've just kind of threw it together, but he genuinely kind of think it, probably because he's running these half-hour intervals all day.
Yeah, every half hour, and it's a 25-minute presentation, yeah. So he's doing that. But imagine it's the same person doing it about 4, 5, 6 times a day. You know, you get pretty good at your spiel.
Yeah.
We took a look at the Xbox area as well. Scott took a look at Forza at the end of the day because the queue started to die down.
Yeah, at that point the queue was non-existent. I'm not one to argue about the intricacies of racing games, but I mean, buy Project Cars. I mean, Fallout 6, Forza 6, I apologise, Forza 6. I mean, it just felt like Forza 3, it felt like every other Forza game. I feel like I can see Ubisoft standing over it with a flogging whip, you know, let's beat this dead horse. I mean, it felt the exact same. Granted, I mean, I think the assists, like traction control, your anti-lock braking system are much more refined in this, and the older the car, it feels like an older system, because I played the second time around I played in the Audi R8, which we played it with the new Xbox controller.
Oh, we got hands on with the Elite controller.
That's something for later on in this montage. But I do the R8 and it felt like a modern car. That's the one thing I will say was good about Forza 6, whereas I drove in the BMW M1 race car the first time and the anti-lock braking system felt like a anti-lock braking system for the 70s. It was juddery and quite terrible, but still I felt it was far too arcadey for a game that claims to be this kind of simulator style. I mean, I don't know if it claims that, but it seems like that's the way they're going. But if you're into the simulator, buy Project Cars. If you like an arcade racing game, go buy Forza. I'm sure it's great for that. And as far as I'm aware, I got to choose for quite a lot of cars in the demo, which I was quite shocked at. There was a lot of choice. I was expecting like 3 cars, a few tracks. There was quite a few tracks, real race tracks, real licensed cars. So still got all that.
While you were playing Forza, myself and Lucy Yearwood from the writing staff actually got to meet Graham Boyd, Mr. AC Bongos himself. had a chat with him. He passed us on to ID at Xbox. We saw a lot of ID at Xbox games. We played some as well. We played.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's terrible. I think we've got a flyer somewhere for it, but it's like a business card.
We went back and we looked at Gear Gauntlet, which I actually gave my game of the show to for EGX Res back in March. We saw Cuphead, didn't get our hands on. It looks amazing. It just looks outstanding. It's got charm, it's witty. It looks like a 1930s Mickey Mouse cartoon.
I felt in the Xbox section personally that we haven't got our hands in Halo 5 yet, which we will. But as I know everybody out there that's an Xbox fan's probably sitting going, yeah, what's going on with Halo 5 and Tomb Raider? We haven't touched either of them. But for what I saw, for what we played, the indie section for Xbox definitely stole the show there, because I mean there was some really nice looking games and really good efforts for developers.
The game we couldn't remember a second ago, it's a game called Jump Stars. Yeah. It's actually made from a team, part of the team studied at Abertay University and were picked up by Microsoft. So they moved their studios from Dundee down to Birmingham. No, sorry, Brighton. Birmingham's where the event just is being held right now.
Yeah, it was Brighton, yeah.
Yes. Really nice guys. They know the site. They're part. They were involved in the Scottish Games Network. Yeah, Jump Stars was one of the standout games at the ID at Xbox.
It really was pretty good. I mean, I just kind of walked along, and you know, they kind of cordon these areas off, and you get like Xbox staff or Microsoft staff standing there, and they'll just be like, go here, and they point to a console, and these developers guys, never met them, showing me this game, and I'm like, well, this kind of looks like a kids game. I'm like, I don't know if I could wrap myself around this, because I'm not a big fan of kids games. What? I'm talking about it. The camera's there.
I don't know how good the microphone is in the
camera.
Fantastic.
Anyway, but anyway, yeah, he basically said that, you know, this is the controls, very basic controls. You know, left bump was punch left, right bump was punch right.
That was for the game. It's a multiplayer game.
Yeah, it's a multiplayer game.
This mode had one of the characters. You play a little coloured square with eyeballs in the face.
A helmet.
The helmet, or you get to kind of customise what they look like. This game mode was called TNT, where if you imagine one of the characters starts with TNT or a block of dynamite on them, and they have a countdown timer, and when the timer goes down to 0, if you've not passed the TNT on by punching or forcing your enemy off a ledge, then you are the one that receives the explosion and you're out of the match, and then the TNT is passed on to another player and the game continues on until there's one person left standing.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I played that and played Jump.
Which
game mode, which is basically jump up the platforms, but as soon as you reach it, everybody reaches the top, the screen starts moving up.
That's if one person reached the top?
No, it's a 4-4.
Was it?
Yeah, it's got to go 4 the first time.
So I'm pretty sure that's where I died the first time, as I wasn't anywhere near the top.
But
yeah, so you jump up
platforms and you keep. It's quite strange.
The screen moves up with you. So
move through the platforms, and basically you can jump through the platforms, jump all the way to the top. But you've got to try and judge your next platform well. You've got to think of it in advance to move your character up. Because some of them will get gaps and stuff.
They're not always in straight rows.
Lines. I mean, to start with, you think, oh, I'm getting a real, you know, I'm getting a feel for this, and then you're missing a platform, and then the screen catches you, and that's you out of the match. I mean, I only ever played one other game mode, and it was I think it was either down or drop. It's called, and it's kind of the opposite, except you can drop through some floors, and other floors have got coloured squares that match your character's colour, and only you can drop through the holes there. You have to be as fast, and the screen moves down. Similar idea, but I think the main appeal of the game is if you get 4 players, and it's a real, you know, social game. You know, 4 players sitting.
It benefits from
television.
party play if you sit with 4 friends in the same room at the same time.
I mean, we played first time we played with a couple of random, you know.
Yeah, just a couple of random
gamers about EGX, and I mean, loved it at the minute. It was fun, you know. We were all laughing, didn't know the guys, you know, got on really well. Second time it was from the guys from, well, 2 guys. So you need their business card as well.
I've met so many people today.
Yeah, we met a lot of people today.
Just with the power of editing. Yeah, then the second time we played that, we played with the guys from the Hitmen.
Yeah, the guys, and we had a real good laugh with them, and it was a really fun game. I really like the TNT mode. A lot of people would probably say, oh yeah, it's very Bomberman, but Bomberman's kind of top down. This is more platforms, 30-second dynamite, and you can punch
one bomb on screen.
Yeah, one bomb on the screen. You basically, it's like a tag, you know, you've got to tag someone.
Yeah, it's hot potato.
And run away. And it's fun. So it's quite amusing because you can get some quite close moments. I mean, the first time I played it, I had like 2 seconds left and just tagged the other guy with the dynamite and moved as quickly as I could with my character across the screen. Oh, there was the other game mode with the wind-up chains. With the logs.
Yes,
I hated that.
There was 4 kind of sections, and each had a weight hanging above the ceiling, and if you seen the chain that was suspending the weight starting to unreel, you had to get out the road, otherwise the weight would fall and crush you, and you'd be out the game. That once again benefited from the punching rather than, well, you could jump over or you could jump on top of players, but you could get punched into the road of weights coming down, and it's very much the same as last person standing wins.
I mean, you can do it cooperatively, you can help each other out. The first time I played it with the developer himself, and well, we were trying to cooperate in the very same game mode, but I had reaction time and was everything. I just basically I tried, because it was faster and 2 start to drop as you go on. I was trying to avoid the first one and basically move my character under the second one. It's quite really one thing I've got to say is it's fun. It really is fun. I mean, we really had a good time, although Calum wasn't as successful at it as he rage quit.
I didn't rage quit. I sat the controller down in a huff, and the way the consoles are set out, they have a plastic cover to stop people taking the dev discs out of the console, and the controller brushed against the power button and actually turned the console off.
Classic rage quit.
The only other kind of game to mention from today, I think, was, it's not an Xbox game, but it was.
They didn't say it wouldn't become an Xbox game either. It's a Steam and Mac game by early 2016.
And it's called
Shadow Hand.
It's an interesting take on solitaire, which might sound silly and strange, but it introduces solitaire and RPG elements and a strange combat system which works. The way it works is you are given your cards, and there's lots of kind of face down cards, and you'll have X amount of face up, and at the bottom you have the deck of cards and your face card. Now you play off the face card. If it is no matter what the value is, you have to either play a card that is the value plus or minus 1 to the face card. So if you have a 9, you can only play a 10 or an 8, and if you can't play that, you've got to take a card from the deck, and the game is completed when you take a card from the playing field. I don't know, I'm doing a really crap job explaining this.
It's like a take in solitaire. It's quite strange, because I mean we talked to the two developers as a couple, really lovely couple, dressed like pirates, really get right in the spirit of things. That's
like the kind of theme of the game. But in solitaire, you know, when you take the card away, it'll flip the one underneath it. This game had, as the levels progressed, the layouts became more and more advanced, where you would have almost like pyramids, and once you take the top one off, the two underneath would turn, and then you would once you get rid of them, the ones underneath, like the four underneath that, would turn, and that's what you got. The only way you can lose this game would be if you keep missing moves and your deck ends up empty, but you still have cards in your play area. Now the combat element
Was rather interesting. I found it really good. There's a button come up that you just beat the boss, the level boss, and I was kind of like, well, it's a card game, I mean, there's small bits of narrative in between, and they're really quite good. And I mean, they're nothing, you're not getting, a Final Fantasy game here, but the narrative in between was fun. It kind of broke up the play, but added something to keep your reasoning behind. You're fighting these characters in the boss fights and things. The boss fights was each player had to build up a certain amount of points for combos using the same card game system, but it was turn based.
So the way you built up your attack was by if you could get a chain of cards without having to resort to your deck. So if you could clear, if you had the 9, but you also, and then in your play area you had a 10, a 9, an 8 and a 9, you could take the 9, you could cover the 10, 9, 8 and then back to the 9, and that would build up a combo of 4, and then that would increase your attack, and once your attack is ready you just clicked it and it took off the enemy's health.
Yeah, it was I quite liked that kind of art they were talking more about then, because it isn't a complete game, it's a kind of dev build of the game, but
yeah,
it's quite about three kind of levels as such.
There was 2 levels, each containing like 3 matches.
Yeah, but I liked the RPG element of that. Your characters had the equipped special card that you needed to build up, and that was your weapon. It did a certain damage amount, and a certain amount you had to hit to activate it to, get it up to its full, level recharge, as you may say. But at the same time, the computer's doing the exact same thing with its attack, so it can take health off you, so you could lose in the boss battles. But they were saying to us, as they said to us after it, they showed us what they're adding to it as a separate thing. You collect these special cards and potions and things, and you can build them up and use them for healing, and it's really quite, it's real depth.
Beating bosses or purchasing things in the store will allow you to change your weapons, so you'll do more damage once you finally build up your attack in a boss fight, or you can buy outfits which will imagine will increase your health or your armour in boss fights, and then you'll have like special magic attacks they talked about.
Yeah,
they weren't in the game.
They weren't really ready yet. They just did a few items in the game, a few setups. They showed us different weapons and things you could equip your character. But they said there's going to be like passive and non-passive abilities that can help you in the much later on levels they're talking about and further down the line. But it's quite innovative, I think. It really relaxing. You used the word relaxing. I mean, you could really, me and Calum sat down in this game. We must have played it half an hour, 40 minutes.
But they didn't even have to explain anything to us. We sat down, I started reading a narrative on the screen, and all of a sudden I was presented with cards. The game done an excellent job of explaining itself, and
it's a fantastic job of explaining itself.
You learned, I'm not saying I mastered it, but you learned very quickly. It's not a difficult game. It is relaxing if you like card games.
I think I could see the increase in difficulty as I went through the levels. I think as they add more levels, I'm sure there's a lot more to come from it, because I mean, it seems that there's going to be a big RPG element to it. I think that it could get quite difficult and get to a point where you've got to be quite strategic with it. I mean, I nearly got beaten with one of the bosses because I wasn't really watching how I was playing my cards, and it was very close, and I was kind of a sigh of relief after, and I'm thinking, I'm playing a card game and I'm a sigh of relief after. This is the sort of thing you do with Dark Souls, That was quite interesting to get that from a game I never expected it from. And praise where praise is due. I thought it was a really well executed game, fantastic, and I do hope they bring it to console platforms in the future, because I think, or even like you said, mobile platforms would be excellent. Tablet,
yes,
in particular, would be really good for that, or even for I think any sort of platform at all that can hold small apps, it would really be fantastic because it's like the game, is it Gwent from the
From the Witcher 3, yeah.
It's like the idea of that. It's like a sub game that's been taken from something else, and I even liked the narrative. I mean, I thought the narrative was kind of good. It gave you some backstory. You know, it's the characters' reasons for where they are. There wasn't. I mean, because you see a lot of these themed card games that are just card games and they don't really have anything to them. This had story and real depth. Surprising. I mean, 30 to about 40 minutes we were sitting there and totally sucked in with this. And then we spoke to the two developers, and as we said, lovely couple. I mean, I think they were genuinely pleased to hear we really enjoyed it, and I mean, it's good. I hope that gives them, the more motivation to continue it, because I thought it was excellent. I don't think it will be an expensive game when it comes out on Steam, and to be honest with you, anybody with any sort of PC, I think, could get a Steam account and run it. Yeah, it's not a high graphics game. It's just a card game, but it looks really good though. I mean, I like all the art. I mean, did they say it was 18th century it was set, or 17th century?
Yes, it was.
Kind of pirate-esque
It's really, really lovely art style. Very.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the remakes of the original Monkey Island game?
Yeah, I never played them myself, but I've seen.
Do you know the art style of how they do the still pictures and the voiceovers?
I see where you're coming from. That's a very good example to compare them. And it's really. I know today wasn't really a full day. It was more like laying the grounds.
We went in with the idea of we would get some pictures from the Twitter feed. We would scope out the area of EGX. It's massive this year, and we would kind of pick, because we're going to be there for all 4 days. Yeah, we're going to be there for all 4 days, and we didn't want to rush in and do everything on day one. We've got to remember Thursday has the lowest attendance. The weekend is going to be hectic, so we want to try and get games like Halo, Rainbow Six Siege. We're going to try and get to see them tomorrow. I'm also going to try and get my hands on the HTC Steam VR headset.
Technically speaking,
well, we can both.
I'm kidding. Well, I mean, today I'd say pick of the day for the game. But I did get to try Gungeon. I don't actually know if that's its full name, but it's a roguelike game like Rogue Legacy. There
was lots of indie games kind of played today to the point where I'm not going to lie, there was a
lot more than what you could handle.
You could sit down and just, there's loads of PCs, you would sit down, you would play it for a couple of minutes, get up, leave. You could walk past it an hour later and think, if I played that, I don't know, I think that's a good kind of wrap up for today, and I would...
Shadowhand, game of the day.
Shadowhand was game of the day. Xbox game, I would say the idea Xbox. Jump Stars.
Yeah, definitely Jump Stars. I mean,
don't get me wrong, still love Gear Gauntlet, but I would love to have actually seen the developers today, spoke to them. Hopefully I get to do that tomorrow.
Everybody was, I think even the people there though, the staff and everyone was sort of in a kind of big rush today because it is the first day and they're trying to see how smoothly it's running and things, so they were all over the place, busy, you know. I mean, I would, as you say, we have a long list of things to go, a few things I want to go back and redo. I think to get a proper feel, Just Cause 3 in particular, because it was just really the tournament mode we were in.
I wouldn't mind trying to get my hands on Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I'm very sceptical of the game, but...
Ubisoft, flog. That's all I'm saying. It looks like, to me, from what I've saw, I can't comment directly on the game, for what I could see, it looks like Assassin's Creed 3 in London, with, was it 48 assassins?
Yeah, they were talking about you have a gang of 40 assassins.
40 assassins.
But we will have more on that tomorrow.
Yeah, more on that tomorrow. I don't want this video to drag on.
Yes, so thanks for tuning in and check back for tomorrow's video. See you later.
Yeah.